My name is Shahzad Uddin. I'm a professor of accounting at Essex Business School. One of the reasons I joined Essex Business School are because of its high-class reputation on research on political and social issues. I grew up in one of the poorest countries in the world. I was only 4 years old when Bangladesh became independent after a short but brutal armed conflict. I knew Bangladesh went through a series of social and political struggles. One thing became very clear to me, very early stage of my life, that poverty is not only because of the natural disaster, also because of global politics. I've seen mass starvation in 1974 firsthand, and I suppose this perhaps led to me to study of poverty alleviation, economic development, and linking them with accounting. I've been involved with many research projects, questioning the role of global politics, questioning the World Bank agenda in emerging economies. Many of these programs were about public sector reforms, corporate governance reforms, and privatization. Not surprisingly, all these reforms have one fundamental assumption, that is private ownership is efficient. It is more efficient than public ownership. The reason is this, that private owners are able to implement good incentive systems, and that will lead to better performance, better services, and better business models. It's believed that if they have a good incentive control systems, they'll be able to provide better services, they'll be able to provide better performance, and ultimately that will lead to poverty alleviation. Interestingly, these claims remain understudied in poorer countries. I wanted to study whether privatized companies have really produced better controls. My study demonstrated the fact that privatized companies have produced severe consequences for the workers. New owners have manipulated account information to avoid taxes. Employment decreased, GDP decreased, investment decreased. So I've argued that assumptions taken by the multilateral agencies are fundamentally flawed. They have not taken local context into consideration. Generally, the impact of my research would have been influencing the change of policy by the World Bank and other agencies. We all know that this cannot be achieved in the short term, as it requires fundamental changes in the structures and thought processes of policymakers. To my surprise, I found that one of the local NGOs started to campaign against World Bank and their rights of immunity using my research findings. According to this immunity, that World Bank do not have to go to the local court for their activities and for their operations according to the agreement. This particular case came to surface when a local employee sued the World Bank in the court of Bangladesh for unfair dismissals. The World Bank argued they're immune from any trial according to the agreement. To make the case even stronger, they allegedly asked the government to make a law in the parliament. When the members of parliament are considering the proposal, the local NGOs, using my research, started to campaign against the World Bank immunity. And they started to demonstrate the fact that World Bank-induced programs have serious consequences for the workers, for the businesses, for the economy and society. This has had some chain reactions. NGOs in other countries have also raised the validity of immunity for agencies such as the World Bank and IMF. I would like to further study the World Bank's immunity and relate them with prescribed business models for poorer countries.